Everyone wants freedom. Everyone wants freedom. We want time and money freedom. You are not an exception. You will be amazed at how much free time you have when you never have to think about money. It's absolutely incredible when you stop and really start to think about it. The mind. It's all about the mind. Remember in Dad's Money Pump, the mind was in there. It's all about the mind. Your marvelous mind. You see, understanding your mind and working in harmony with the laws governing the mind is absolutely essential if you want more of this stuff. Now look it. Anybody can get this. You can have all you want, but you've got to earn it. What we're going to talk about is how to earn it. How to earn all you want. It all starts inside. If you don't do it inside, it's never going to happen outside. If you're going to do it inside, you've got to understand how the mind functions. You must look at this. Success is 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Now, I didn't always know that. I was sitting with a woman, she's a distributor consultant of ours, Catherine White-Schule in Germany. I remember I was interviewing her. Gina, my assistant, was sitting with me. She was taking notes. Catherine said, success is 5% strategy, 95% mindset. I'd never heard that before. I thought about it. I thought, you know something? She's right. That resonated with everything in my mind. It felt perfectly comfortable. 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Well, there's the man that really made an enormous difference in my life. I met him after I started with Dan Gilcanet because he's the one that really taught me what I know about the mind. To start off, I had an enormous amount. Keep in mind, I had started studying this in 1961. I was addicted to studying this because I knew that the secrets in life were tied up in these books. In fact, you can have anything you want by getting into enough books and getting enough of the information. Val Vendel sat down with me and he said, Bob, most people have no idea how the mind works. Val's gone now. That's a picture of him taken at the $1 Million Forum. The $1 Million Forum is something I started with Mark Victor Hansen, Bernie Torman, and Jack Canfield. We were teaching people how to earn $1 million by setting up multiple sources of income. We'll talk about that this week. In fact, that's where Mark and Jack started Chicken Soup for the Soul. But Vandel, he sat down with me and said, I'm going to show you something about the mind. He talked about a man that he had worked with, got to know, and he said, I want you to look at the mind, and I want you to look at your mind and your paradigms. He said, paradigms, Bob, are controlling your life. He said there was a doctor in 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet, who was very involved in the healing arts. He stated, the mind is an activity. It's not a thing. No one has ever seen the mind. In order to gain clarity and eliminate confusion, he said, I'm going to create an image of the mind. No one has ever seen the mind. Now think of this for a moment. A lot of people believe that the mind is the brain. The mind is not the brain. The brain is not the mind. Any more than your hand is the brain. The brain is an electronic switching station. The mind thinks. It activates brain cells. That's what thinking is. It's mental activity. As you activate the brain cells, you alter the vibration of this instrument our body is in. When it alters the vibration, you change what you attract into your life. Well, this good doctor said there's a problem in the healing arts. He said we're treating the body for disease. We're treating symptoms. We're not treating the cause of the problem at all. If you're going to treat the cause of the problem, the cause starts in the mind. You're always working from a higher to a lower potential. Think of this for a moment. No one knows what electricity is. No one alive knows what electricity is. But we do know if you're working with electricity, you must work from a higher to a lower potential always. If you try and go contrary to that, you'll get no useful use out of the electricity. You must work from a higher to lower potential. The only limit on the electricity is the limit we place on it. We say this is electricity, the lights. That's an expression of electricity. The only difference here in the expression of electricity is the size of the light bulb. Put in a bigger bulb and you have a greater expression, more light. The only limit to the mind is the body. It's the limit placed on the form through which it flows, the body. So he said, I'm going to make a picture of the mind. He said, I want that to represent the mind. He started to talk about it. He said, that is the conscious mind. That is the subconscious mind. And this is the body. Now, if you want to earn money, you must understand how the mind functions. It's the mind that attracts the stuff. This doesn't happen by accident. A lot of people believe you must be really smart to earn a lot of money. You don't have to be really smart to earn a lot of money at all. I wasn't very smart, and I earned over $1 million a year. You don't have to be smart to earn money. You'll find people leaving the most prestigious universities in the world with degrees coming right off the end of a business card, and they're broke. They don't know how to earn money. Being smart isn't the end. You have to be aware. There's a big difference. We have got lost and fallen in love with developing the intellect. We want to develop awareness. I want you to become aware this week of how your mind functions, how money is attracted to you. Money must be earned. You must earn it. This stuff has to be earned. People think you earn money by going to work. That's absurd. You don't work for money. You provide service to earn money. Now, the drawing you see there is, without question, the most valuable idea I have ever learned. The conscious mind, the subconscious, and the body. The body is the instrument of the mind. So, let's look at it. It's essential you gain an understanding of this. Your conscious mind is interesting. It's very interesting. So is the subconscious and the body. The conscious mind is your thinking mind. There's a power that flows to and through you. There's a power flowing into your consciousness right now. It's flowing into your mind right now. A phenomenal power. Spirit energy is flowing into your conscious mind. You think and you have, that's your educated mind. That's where you start to gather all kinds of information. That's where your intellect is resonant. Do you know what your intellectual factors are? Most people don't. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the power that you've got locked up there in your conscious mind. It's absolutely incredible. That's where the intellect is resonant. Now, the subconscious operates quite differently than the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is your emotional mind. It's totally different than the conscious mind. The conscious mind has the ability to choose. The subconscious does not. The conscious mind has the ability to choose. The conscious mind can accept or reject. The subconscious mind cannot do that. The subconscious mind can only accept. It has absolutely no ability to reject. The subconscious mind has no ability to originate. Your conscious mind has the ability to originate. You're a creative being. You can originate idea. Now your subconscious mind must accept anything you turn over to it. The conscious mind chooses. The subconscious must accept it. The only way to get to the subconscious is through the conscious. There's no other way to get to the subconscious mind except through the conscious. Your subconscious mind cannot reject. I'll tell you something else. It has no ability to determine what's planted in it. Your imagination is phenomenal. Your subconscious mind cannot determine the difference between what's real and what you've imagined. You have the ability to imagine beautiful ideas. You can imagine your life in a certain way. If you get emotionally involved and stay feeding that idea, it has to happen as sure as it's dark tonight. Now watch this information. This is on the mind. I think you know you're not going to devour all this all at once. You're just not going to do it. Now let's look at that information I've given you. Let's look here. There's the conscious mind. There's you today. You're getting information from social media, from other people, from Netflix, from podcasts. It's pouring into your conscious mind. Because you have the ability to think, remember, I said you could accept or reject it. Most of that information that's coming at you is negative information. You've got the ability to reject that. Just say, get out of here. Now look, you can say, I'm not accepting it. Get out of here. But you know something? Most people don't do that. What happens? Well, the truth is, they're not thinking. Because they're not thinking, their minds are wide open. What did we say about the subconscious? It has no ability to reject. See, your subconscious mind is immoral. It's like the earth. You can plant anything in it you want, and it cannot reject it. Your subconscious mind is very powerful. Why is it left like that? That's the paradigm. You're literally programmed to leave your mind wide open. How did that happen? Well, let's take a look at how it happened. Let's close the window on this for a moment and go over here. Now look here. You said this is you today. We're going over here. This is you as an infant. I want you to think of babies. I have great-grandchildren today, and that's the way they arrive on the scene. Their mind is wide open. Everything that's going on around them is going right into their subconscious mind. It just keeps dumping into their subconscious mind. And you know something? That's how the paradigm is formed. Now let's take a look at the paradigm for a moment. The paradigm enables you to eat. The paradigm enables you to get dressed. It enables you to drive a car. It enables you to do all kinds of things. It enables you to do almost everything you do. The paradigm is a program that controls your behavior. It controls almost all of your habitual behavior. That paradigm controls the language we speak. We learned to speak a language before we could even talk. We were learning the language. That language is just stuff pouring into our subconscious mind. You very likely liked the food your parents liked. Almost everything we do was programmed in at an early age. Now, look at this. Here we are, 20, 30, 40 years later doing the same damn thing. It's almost inconceivable that people would be doing what they were programmed to do as infants, but they keep living that way. You see, a paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. So let's go back and look at it again for a moment. Here we are as infants. I want you to think of when you were an infant. Was there a lot of this stuff around? Was there a lot of money? Did you live very well? Now you probably think, well, we live fairly well. Yeah, was there an abundance of money? I mean, could they get anything they wanted? Probably not. You see, our financial situation has usually been programmed at that point right there as little children. Now, this is rather wild, but it's also true. As strange as it is, that's the way it works. We've been programmed at a very early age, and here we are, years later, doing the same thing. Let me give you an example. When I first met Linda, it was 40 years ago. She was out shopping for food one day, and she said, "What would you like?" I said, "I'd like some turnip." She said, "Turnip? What's that?" Well, I tried to explain it to her. "Oh," she said, "we don't eat that. We feed that to the pigs." I said, "Really?" She said, "The green of the turnip." I said, "What's that?" She said, "Well, that's the green, the top of it. The turnip is a root and has green on the top. We eat that." I said, "Isn't that strange? We feed that to the pigs." Now, Linda was raised in southern Alabama and Florida, so she was raised in a totally different culture than I was raised in. They eat the green of the turnips. We eat the turnip. Today, Linda and I don't eat turnip at all. We don't eat the green or the root. We're compromised. Now, think. I want you to think of what it was like when you were a child. I'm going to tell you what it was like when I was a child. I was living way up in northern Canada as a little boy in a pulpwood mill, a pulp lumber mill. We lived in a little log cabin. It was about, 25 yards from the railroad track. In fact, when the rail cars went by, when the train went by, the cabin would shake. New bears would come up and look in the window. The schoolhouse was right next door to the little log cabin. It was a church too, and we went to school there. I just used to wander in there. I was only a little kid. That was where I first went to school. The teacher in there, she taught everybody. It didn't matter what age you were. Everybody got taught in the same schoolhouse. This was during the Great Depression. This was from 1934 to 1939, right in the heart of the Depression. And then in 1939, the whole world went to war. My father and everybody else's father went off to war, so we had no fathers at home. Our mothers were all working. Our grandmothers were looking after us. Now think, this is where I'm growing up. There was all kinds of lack and limitation.